Right then, match reaction. Burnley 3, Millwall 1. Get in. That is season over, job done. A really, really solid performance today, considering the circumstances and the magnitude of the game in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, the promotion was already done, but there was a title to go and win, and I thought the lads performed excellent today. I thought they really gave a superb performance, and against a really difficult opposition as well. Millwall were brilliant. Maybe not brilliant, but I say for most parts of the game they were brilliant, and they were just tough and hard to beat, and they were making it really hard work for us, and they were being big and physical, and we had to match that really a lot today. And I thought we dealt with it quite well, considering. But like you all know by now, the results elsewhere meant that we didn't clinch the title, but we got the result that we needed. We got the result that we wanted. We got the 3 points to take us to 100 points for the season, and I think that's going under the radar a little bit. Unbeaten at home all season, which is an incredible feat. It's really, really impressive stuff. If you were to tell me at the start of the season that you would get 100 points, you'd have 33 games unbeaten, you wouldn't lose a game at home all season, I'd tell you that we'd probably romp the championship and we'd have took the title home weeks ago. But to be going up against a team like Leeds in this league and to be keeping up with them, I think is a real testament to where this squad is at the minute, and what's the job that Scott Parker's done, and the rebuild and everything. So yeah. It's a bit of a bittersweet day because the vibes were really good for like 94 minutes virtually the game, and then obviously Leeds get their late equaliser, which sort of like not sucks the life out of the stadium, but it sort of goes, sort of settle things down a little bit, and we realised we weren't getting the title, even though it was looking likely for quite a large majority of the game, and I thought the lads deserved the title, if I'm honest with you. That they really dug in and they gave it everything, but like I said, a team like Leeds, they just don't know when they're beaten this season, and they've proved time and time again that they're the late show, whether it goes against them or for them, that they're the late show. So, it was almost like it was written, and obviously I think going into the game we'd all accepted that Leeds would win, but when that little carrot gets dangled in front of you, you sort of want it a bit more, don't you? And to have it taken away so that, and it did feel a bit of a damp squib, and you sort of felt a bit like, not disappointed, but you just felt a bit like flat after it. But as for the performance, I thought standout players for me were Hannibal, who had an astonishing game. I thought he was absolutely superb today. He didn't put a foot wrong. He was aggressive. He was skillful. He was getting into good spaces. He was wanting the ball. He was demanding it. He was lifting the crowd up. He was lifting players up around him. He was absolutely superb, and I think that performance was something he's been really deserving and craving for. I think he's had a bit of an up and down season, and to finish the last sort of 7 or 8 games in the form that he has done really can set him up for like a good run in to the Premier League. So get a good summer down him and get his feet under the table, get him ready to go into to the Premier League. So yeah, Hannibal was good. I thought Barnes had an alright game today. He got asked to come in and do a job, and fill in for missing players, and I thought he did really well. I didn't really think we looked like we were missing anything up there. He sort of slotted in that, slotted into the gap that Fleming had left and whatnot. So yeah, he worked his arse off and did Barnesy things, which was always good. And yeah, I thought Anthony probably should have given us a bit more of a convincing lead at one point. He had 2 or 3 chances that should have hit the back of the net. Obviously, he gets his goal that were really well taken. And yeah, but all around, I thought it was just a good performance for the lads and a good day all round, really. I want to give a quick shout to the Millwall fans. I actually thought they were pretty class all the way through that game. They were loud, they were like aggressive, but not in a bad way. But like what you want from away fans is that, that ferocity from them. And I thought they were pretty good, to be fair. I don't usually give a nod to the away fans, but they were pretty decent today. So fair play to them for making the trip up. And like I said, they were missing out on promotion, but such is life, innit? So yeah, buzzing with the 3 points. Like I said, buzzing to get 100 points. Like really impressive stuff. You do this league without Leeds. and you win that title 9 times out of 10 if you put them stats on the board that we have. So is what it is. We just have to probably maybe learn to score a few more goals next season if that's possible. But yeah, like I say, looking back at the season, I think it's been a bit of a up and down one for me anyway. I feel like I was a very, very slow burner to Parker and his ways, and it took me till about sort of February, maybe even March. No, probably February to start coming to a little bit to what he was doing and sort of seeing everything come to plan. But, don't get me wrong, it was a very tough few months watching at the beginning. It felt very frustrating, and it's one of them frustrations I had on them back-to-back 0-0s where we were crap, we were boring, we were pedestrian. If we'd have won them, maybe we'd have got the title a bit earlier. But that's sort of like if my uncle, had a what's it, she'd be my auntie and all that. So is what it is. Put that aside. Now time to rebuild, and hopefully he doesn't have upheaval like he did last season, and he can get a good foundation for this squad and get it built and get it shaping up even more how he wants it, and we can get some good additions in. But yeah, that's another conversation for now. Delighted the season's ended the way it has with promotion. That's what he set out to do, and that's what he needed to do, and that's what he's delivered. So fair play. I thought the celebrations at the end, obviously, after quite a considerable amount of time, I thought that it was brilliant. Like Natasha Bedingfield just walks out on the pitch, which is hilarious. Fair play to them sorting that. But my biggest sort of gripe with it all is I think the overkill of the stewarding. I think obviously they obviously didn't want a pitch invasion, which I understand, and there's a lot of discourse around the statement that they put out threatening people with life bans, which is not acceptable what they did. It's all right condoning it and whatever, but threatening in the tone that they did was unacceptable. It sort of treat fans like criminals, and you're sort of distancing yourself a little bit further from that club fan connection. And I felt that was never more evident until the final whistle. At the final whistle today, I thought it was very disconnected, disjointed. Whether that was something to do with the Leeds fixture, I would say no, because I'm not a person who wants to run on the pitch. If we'd have won the title, I wouldn't have run on the pitch, but it felt very flat at the end, seeing immediately the 30 stewards sprint onto the pitch, surround the players like they're about to be assassinated from the grassy knoll in the corner, and huddled up in front of the bench, not allowing any sort of minor celebrations with the fans at the final whistle, and the fact that the club didn't play any music whatsoever, didn't sort of get any shouting and jeering over the tannoy, didn't really do anything to stoke up an atmosphere for a good 20 minutes, I thought it was very bizarre. I thought the whole thing just fell flat for me, and by the time, the players were coming out, I'd sort of lost interest in it all, really, and that's a shame, really, because they were doing a bit of a trophy lift, and it all just fell a bit, I don't know, it just felt a bit out of touch with the fans, really. I felt that moment with the players and fans was just lost. I know we had our Monday night one against Sheffield United, but it would have been nice to have that moment, pretty sharpish. But I think the delay in, the surrounding of the players by the stewards and the delay in everything just meant a large majority of the people just couldn't really give a crap and just walked off after the game. They didn't even stay to do like the presentation or anything. Like, I know I was in two minds to just give up the ghost. I got bored after about 20 minutes waiting for a song to come on, and then obviously they drip feed the generic Freed from Desire track, which is just overplayed and overused and whatever. But that's again that's a video for another day. But I just thought, I thought the tone was struck all wrong, and did probably take the shine off what should have been a celebratory day. Sorry, it just kind of took the shine off it all. But that again, I've got my gripes with that. People probably think I'm just being negative for the sake of it, but I'm really not. Like, I'm really proud of the lads, actually. They've really proved me wrong, really shown me, not necessarily the lads, but like I said, the staff and everything, I've been really proven wrong this year, and I hold my head up high and hold my hands up as well and say, like, I got it wrong on Parker, and I think we're actually in a really good shape going forward into the new season. So yeah, happy with the win, happy with everything, and yeah, up the Clarets. I'll probably see you in the next season on these videos if I do one, and like I say, make sure you like and subscribe to Turfcast. Joe does some work, he does some hours on this channel, and you know, he's proud of what he does, and like I say, I'm happy to be a part of it for him and chip in where I can. So yeah, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and remember, up the bloody Clarets.